So, which taught me about creative thinking. So here's the issue. Let's start chipping away at it. It's now like a tumor. It's so embedded, it's going to take a while to cut it out. But we can do it. But let's chip away with it. We should have been out there selling these healthcare savings accounts, especially to the young people. You put money in there, it doesn't get taxed, and it doesn't get taxed when you take it out as long as you're paying for your healthcare. And it's there forever. It's your money, the control, and everything else. You're going to watch the numbers when they come in from the bank. You're going to, from the hospital, what they're charging you. It's a great way. And there's other ways. Listen, the insurance companies made a ton of money on this. They got in bed with these guys. Don't kid yourself. So we've got to break that string. We've got to put competition. All of you remember when Reagan deregulated the airline. Remember? They told them planes were going to be crashing. Nobody's going to be able to fly. It's going to be a mess, the whole thing. What happened? Everybody could fly. The prices went down. There was more airline, more routes to choose, and everything else. The same thing can happen with competition. A couple other things, because I know time is short, and I'm a politician now. I guess I'm defined as a politician. I can probably speak for 3 hours, but I do have some great jokes. Look, I will tell you one more thing. This is an interesting thing about Obamacare. I was driving with a friend of mine who's a doctor, and he's kind of a dry sense of humor, so you never know when it's coming out. So we started talking about Nancy Pelosi, because, we're talking politics. He likes talking politics. So he said, Stan, he said, what do you think Nancy Pelosi does? She says, you have to pass it to see what's in it. I said, yeah, how ridiculous is that? That would be first on my list to check off to say, you shouldn't be a congressman, you shouldn't even be dog catcher. All right? He said, no, Nancy was absolutely right. I said, what are you talking about, Jack? He said, well, you know what? That's the perfect definition of a stool sample. So, see, I told you, he sings here when we're running all the time. By the way, I almost drove off the road after I got it. See, I'm fun to hang around with. I'm great at cocktail parties, anything you got, just call me up, I'll be there. I'll be the entertainment for the night. But seriously, though, the debt ceiling, we know it's there. You don't vote to raise the debt ceiling. I don't care who you are. Congress has been saying, well, they're going to close the government. No, we're not going to close the government. No way, there's stuff that stays open. But you know what we got to do? Instead of sending a budget which Obama was going to veto or reject and blame it on us, let's just start sending him line items. Send him line item for food stamps. Let him be the one that vetoes this stuff. Congress abdicated its responsibility. They've got to work for a change to get this done. You can't give up your power. It's the people's court. It's the people's Congress. That means it's you and my Congress. It's up to us to run. That's the way the Founding Fathers set up. Bottom-up government. Not this top-down stuff that they're trying to throw on us. Look, I can go on again for a while. You know my position on illegal aliens. As far as I'm concerned, security, I don't care what my opponent says about his, trying to control ISIS and everything else. You know what? Security begins at the border. I will tell you this, I carry the Constitution in my pocket. I always carry a copy of the Constitution in my pocket. There's no dotted line on this document where you sign it and it becomes a suicide pact. We're under no obligation to let people in this country that want to sell drugs to our kids drive on a road drunk and kill us and commit criminal mayhem. There's no right for those people to be here. Likewise, thank you. Likewise, we're under no obligation to accept people in this country, and I'm not talking a whole class of people. I'm talking about people in this country, accept people in this country who hate this country. They don't believe in our Judeo-Christian values and laws, and they want to supplant those laws with some archaic 11th century concept that demeans women and makes slaves of all of us who are non-believers. That's not our country. One more thing before I go. There's something else that really got me over the top with Pat. He talks about, oh, I'm great for the VA and the whole thing, I back the guys. Well, I gotta tell you something. This is the thing that does it. He was the only Republican congressman to vote against the 2015 VA Accountability Act. You can't have it both ways. You can't be your John Kerry routine. But as someone who served in the Army for 6 years and was a sergeant, and even though there are a couple of guys in here that are in the Air Force that give me crap every time I come in here, I gotta tell you something. That is absolutely politics at its worst. And you wanna know why? I always say, just follow the money. Philadelphia Inquirer, March 4th, 2016. Pat gets all his money from the unions and the Democratic, big law firms. You can't have it both ways. Pat Meehan has forever collected a government check. And that is wrong. So I'm going to leave you with this one last thought. Benjamin Rush was I'm a great fan of Benjamin Rush, one of our founding fathers. I want to be able to come back here every year and you all look me in the eye and say, Stan, you said what you're going to do and you did what you said. And I know we're tired of the other way around. But Benjamin Rush said, nothing is politically right if it is morally wrong. That is over my mirror, that will be in my congressional office, and that will be there. Thank you for your time. Come out to me and vote. Vote, vote, vote.
Thank you, Stan. Hey, I got before I call up Kurt Kissinger, if he can make his way forward. Kurt, are you here? I did find out some information today from Representative Tom Calderon. I got to speak with him for a while today, met with him face to face. Do you know that Reading has become #1 in something? Can anybody tell me what that is? No. Heroin. Reading, per capita, in the United States of America, has the highest heroin usage, addiction. They found it in every elementary school now in the city of Reading. They just had a meeting at the Liederkranz today. Tom Wolf came down, and they changed the agenda of the meeting to specifically focus on heroin addiction in Berks County. We are #1, and it's pitiful. Would you rather be #1 in jobs in the state or something? No, we're #1 in drugs, right here in Reading, Pennsylvania. So it's really pitiful. So, anyways, Kurt. Okay. Okay, so everybody who's up here on the platform, everybody seems to be ignoring the light that gets flashed. When that light gets flashed, if you don't stop, I'm supposed to throw you up the... No.
Hi guys, thank you so much for opening your doors for me. I'm here to represent Otto Boyd. He is running for treasurer here in the state of Pennsylvania. And if it's okay with you guys, I'd actually like to take a moment to kind of go off script. Will that work for you guys? Fantastic. So I got to know Otto pretty well over the last couple of months volunteering on his campaign, and I got to learn more about his story and his upcoming. He's a Berks County guy, as a lot of you know. Lives in Muhlenberg Township. Has served on the school board. Has done a number of things for public schools. But his initial calling to duty has been in the military, actually. He served in the 101st Airborne, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. And he became a very successful businessman. And he was very successful through that, as I said before, helping school districts. And he actually had a more recent call to duty, and that was to the state of Pennsylvania. Throughout the last 50 years, a Republican has been elected twice into the position of treasurer. He saw that as a problem. And then that was compounded with the actions of the current governor, and compounded further with the corruption of Kathleen Kane and her cronies. And it's gotten worse, so he decided that he's going to step up and bring Berks County values back to the treasurer's office. So with your support, your continued support, we can bring some Republican values back to the state treasurer's office. If you have any questions, please feel free to check out his website and check out his Facebook page for those of you who are connected on Facebook. Thank you.
You got time to go to lighting for that. Dean? Everyone knows Dean Klopp. This man does a lot of fine work, and he has a little presentation for us. computers. This is why I don't use one. By the way, for those of you that email me that I get occasionally, I only look at my email about every 2 weeks, so you're probably way down there. If you need me, call me. I've noticed some people have emailed me and I never see them. Too busy all the time, and I hate being on the computer. It puts me to sleep.
Sorry about the delay, guys. Sam and the other board members that asked me to do a little presentation a few weeks ago, we were busy out creating trouble and rabble-rousing on Route 183. But there's a message that I want to drive home tonight, and I'll come back to it. But the message is, taxes for thee, but not for me. My name's Dean Klopp, and I'm proud to be here as a Berks County Patriot. I'm also proud to be part of David Boldinger's Pennsylvania Taxpayer Cyber Coalition. I'm also proud to be president of the Pennsylvania Liberty Alliance. And a few weeks ago, you guys answered the call through Sam and the board and Linda and Rod and Jim, and you guys came out in force. You guys answered the call. And something that, yeah. I'm sorry. Something that I thought was very important came across my telephone. I got a call from actually a couple people over a fundraiser that was occurring for a big Republican leader here in Pennsylvania. I think you guys know who he is, Jake Corman. Have any of you heard of him? And we thought that it was very important for us as Berks Countyans to step up and let Jake know that we were not going to stand for his actions. I know we were talking about December 23rd a little while ago. I'm going to back it up to November 23rd. And there were some people in Harrisburg that did not do what they told us they were going to do. And some of them were Republicans. Some of them were Democrats. We were counting on votes from Kim Ward. She peeled off our bill 76, the Property Tax Independence Act, a week before we actually voted on the bill. And she gave some really lame excuses, and of course we rebutted that at a town hall meeting out in Greensburg last month. Also Senator McKilvany from the Lehigh Valley, Tom Garigal from Delaware County, and our state majority leader, Jake Corman, had told us that he would vote for this bill if it was anywhere close and we needed his vote. I'm going to tell you folks, in November, his name was called 3 times for the roll call vote before he voted nay. We will never forget what he did. We will never forget what Kim Ward did, or Tom Garigal, or Senator McKilvany, or Senator Blake, who told us that he was going to vote for us up in the Scranton area, or Senator Fontana, who went to a $1,000 fundraiser for himself instead of showing up to vote that day. So folks, when this man came to Berks County, we only thought it was fitting that we would give him a welcoming committee, a welcoming party. Well, this man is enjoying fine dining and fine wine by donors that seem to maybe want to see him elected governor. Okay? Don't be surprised when Jake Corman throws his hat into the ring. We showed up on 183 in force. There were about 50 of us, and as you can see, the slides have been rolling, and you can see we had a great time. The word came out to me a week prior to this that this was going to happen. This was a private event. There were some very wealthy people from Berks County that were helping to sponsor this event. I can tell you, initially, we talked with Sam and some others, and we thought initially we're going to keep this hush and we're going to surprise him. Well, that stayed quiet for about 24 hours, Sam. And we were going to send out some emails just to some people that we knew. Well, it just went viral, and then we decided we're just going to put it out in the network. We sent out email blasts, thousands of emails. I know the Berks Patriots sent out thousands of emails. And you know what? We put it all over Facebook because we wanted to know, we wanted Jake Corman and the establishment to know what we're doing, and that we're not backing down, we're not sitting down, we're not shutting up, and we're not going away. Folks, every time I hear, well, who's in opposition? Who's in opposition? Who's buying off our candidates or our representatives and state senators. And so many times, the number one answer, can I hear it from you? Teachers unions, right? I'm here to rattle your cage today and tell you that the teachers union had less to do with us losing a vote November 23rd than the quote-unquote conservative establishment that's here in Pennsylvania. And I'm here to name names. The Pennsylvania Chamber of Compromise, I like to call it. Pennsylvania Chamber of Commerce. The NFIB. And if anyone here belongs to these organizations, I'd really like to talk to you afterwards, because we want to drop their membership immediately. Okay? I did it myself 2 years ago, and we're on a campaign right now. We're approaching every NFIB member that we can in the state, and we're talking to them about 76, educating them. The NFIB is the National Federation of Independent Business Owners. They're mostly small business owners. Does anyone belong to that organization? NFIB or Chamber of Commerce? I would love to talk to you.
What does the initials stand for?
NFIB, National Federation of Independent Business Owners, and the Chamber of Compromise. Also, the Bar Association, the Accountants Association, the trial lawyers. These are the people that sat in the room, and I'll go forward here. They sat in the room with my good friend Ron Bolts and Jim Rodkey in Harrisburg a few weeks ago, and laid it on thick, a lot of double talk about why they do not support 76. Yeah, the teachers union was represented there through the PA Budget and Policy Center. But most of the people around that room are the people that I just mentioned to you. That's who we're up against, folks. We need to start rethinking our candidates and where their money is coming from. Because you know what? Tim Ward and Jay Corman don't take much money from the teachers union. I'm talking maybe $500, $1,000, $1,500. But you know who's giving them money? The people I just mentioned to you. Those are the puppeteers, and the politicians are the puppets. And that's what's going on today. It's all about the money. Stan, did I hear you? Follow the money. Follow the money, folks. So I appreciate the opportunity to share with you. I would like to see a show of hands, or even better yet, Stan. If you came out with us 2 weeks ago and stood on 183 and let Jay Corman know that we're not taking it, that we're not going away, and that we're not going to forget that he lied to us, raise your hand if you were there. Stand up. Mosers, I know you were there. Let's give these folks a round of applause. Ray Boxer, I know the folks from High Ball there. You rattled some pages, Jake. You rattled some pages, and I applaud you, and I appreciate you, and I thank you very much, and I thank you for the time, Jim. God bless you all.
Thank you, Dean. I'd like to ask Ryan McKenzie to come forward. I think I got us back on schedule, but again, God called me for another change, so I think we're on good here.
Well, thank you, everyone. Again, I'm State Representative Ryan McKenzie. Thank you for allowing me to speak this evening, and it's good to see so many familiar faces in the room. I'll tell you just, I'm running for re-election to the State House. My district covers portions of Berks and Lehigh counties. Here in Berks County, it's townships of Hereford, Longswamp, Richmond, Rockland, and the borough of Copland. And at the same time, I'm also running to be a delegate to the Republican National Convention in the 15th Congressional District. So I'm going to try to do both of those talks in 3 minutes to keep us on schedule here. So first off, in the State House, as Barry mentioned, we fought a vigorous fight against Governor Wolf and his increases in taxes and spending, and the governor that we have here in Pennsylvania is the most liberal governor in all of America. And we absolutely need to stop him at every turn. We were successful in doing that in our budget fight this year, protecting taxpayers, passing a responsible budget that was balanced, and also funding our priorities at the same time. So I was proud to do that. Other things that I focus on in the State House are some of the labor issues that you talked about here earlier. And